Hello everyone, welcome to Study 9 Training. In this video series, we are going to see what Ansible is all about. And this course is mainly designed for hands-on session, more of hands-on session. So whoever is planning to take a certification on Ansible can utilize this course. This course will give more insight about each component of Ansible and how it works and with a full hands-on session. Let's get started with Ansible. And before starting the main topic, so I'm going to tell what are the topics will be covered in this web series. So first we will see what Ansible is all about. After that, we will go ahead with setting up the environment for testing Ansible and other nodes. So in this second topic, we will discuss even the system requirements. After that, we will go ahead with deploying Ansible. After that, implementing playbooks and train complex playbooks. After that, we will cover what is roles, how to implement roles, and implementing Ansible Vault, troubleshooting Ansible Vault, what are the security features available in it. After that, we can see how Ansible Tower works. So most of them know Ansible Tower. So even if it is, if you guys don't have much idea, I'll start from basics what Ansible Tower is all about. So after that, we can see how Ansible is deployed in the DevOps environment. So these are the overall topics which we are going to cover in this web series. Let's start with what Ansible is all about. So before telling the definition, so Ansible word derived from a science fiction. So it means a process which travels faster than light, and it is developed by Dehan. So Ansible is nothing but an automation framework which is capable of doing automation, provisioning, orchestration, change management. It includes the whole IT infrastructure process, and it was an open source software before, and now it has been acquired by Red Hat. And even though it is acquired by Red Hat, so still they are giving a trial version for Ansible Tower and all. So whoever is interested can go ahead and download and start using it. Unless other DevOps tools such as Chef, Puppet, Ansible is very straightforward and very easy to use, and still it has a lot of features. Let's go ahead with other things. Okay, so let's get in depth of this tool. So simple, agentless, and powerful open source for IT automation tool. As I said, provisioning, I'll talk about traditional way of server management. So let's forget DevOps, let's forget Ansible. Let's go back to 2 years or 3 years or 5 years back, and let's understand how our IT infrastructure work. So basically, in an typical IT industry, so coming to server management. So basically, what system administrator does is when they get request for a new server build, or when they want to do a configuration management on each servers, or when they want to do any other patching uplines or any other security compliance, so they have to do it manually. Let's say if they want to build 10 servers, let's say 5 web servers or 5 application servers, those guys have to set up the environment, check the prerequisite, and they will start deploying the servers. It will take bunch of hours, and it is a repetitive process of doing all these things. So in order to handle all these problems, in order to make this work efficient, this DevOps tools comes into picture. So DevOps not only eliminates manual work, its main purpose is to increase the efficiency. So most of the people think that DevOps is going to reduce manpower in industry, but fact is it is not. It is going to improve the efficiency of the results so that IT industry can achieve 99 to 100 percentage of maintenance. So this is what whole idea is all about. So this is how the traditional way of server management was happening before, and now in Ansible. it's completely a different process. If you look at my design, so you can understand. So if you look at the left picture, so in order to build one server, there will be 4 or 5 admins required, and one will be doing patching, one will be installing applications, and one will be responsible for doing other installation. So there will be different person involved for one server. But here is in Ansible, if you look at that, we can build 5 server or 6 server at a time with the right configuration, and Ansible will be doing this in a very efficient way. So this is how Ansible is used in provisioning. Let's talk about automation. So before automation, I'll tell one thing. So humans are not good at doing the same thing over and over in exactly the same way. And that is the reason automation came into picture. So automation is mainly for reducing the repetitive task which admins are performing every day. So automation can reduce those particular work, and Ansible is obviously into this automation. Ansible can run ad-hoc test. It means you can run any script on the servers. You can manage the configuration of each server. Like let's say you wanna to install antivirus on 100 servers. Ansible can make this very easy. You just have to configure, and we will be seeing in later section. So now Ansible will configure the files and it will push the binaries to all 100 server at a time. So it obviously reduces the manpower, time, and everything. So this is where automation comes into picture, and Ansible is responsible for it. After that, even Ansible is doing orchestration. So what is orchestration? Orchestration, the word itself derives what orchestrator doing. So orchestration means that just defining what action needs to be performed in a sequence. So orchestrator is responsible for, let's say he will say, okay, first you play this music, second you play this particular music. So it's like the sequenced order of process execution in IT words. Ansible is even responsible for doing orchestration as well, and obviously it does the change management. So these are all the different functionalities Ansible have. And let's talk about why Ansible. And you must be wondering, there are different tools which is similar to Ansible, Chef Puppet, and each has its own advantage and disadvantage. Let's talk about why we are going with Ansible. So first advantage is it doesn't require agents. This is one of the most important point which you need to be remembered always. This tool doesn't work on agent based. So let's say you want to manage 5 nodes under Ansible, and you no need to go ahead and install agents on each node. This is the beautiness of this tool. And you must be thinking, so how it communicates? It all communicates through SSH, and those details we will see it in the later section. And second is clean and simple tool. Yeah, so this tool is very very simple, and you no need to learn, I mean you no need to know all this complex programming language. You should know how IT, you should be knowing how IT infrastructure works. You just need to know the process, and you should have some basic knowledge of programming, and that will make easier to learn Ansible. No complex database required. Yes, right. So Ansible doesn't need some complex database clustering or anything. It just saves the configuration in the same server. So you don't need to go ahead with all this complex database. Why this point came here? Because when you think in the enterprise level of company, obviously if you want to have complex database, those companies needs to purchase the license of database and other things. It will increase the cost, and that is one advantage here. And no complex upgrades. Ansible upgrade is very very easy, and I'll give more insight later. Enhanced security features. Yes, let's talk about more about security features, because most of the companies, when you go and approach them for using DevOps, for implementing DevOps, the first thing they say is security problems. That is the reason most of the tools currently in the market are adding more of security features to their tools so that there will be no security breach in their machines. So Ansible is also not an exception. So it has a complete security features in it, like encrypted vault, which is an inbuilt feature. It allows you to encrypt all the configuration inside, and it has, it connects this over Linux server or Windows server in the right port, and with Linux server using SSH. And even for to make the communication easier, you don't need to use even the PKI files here. So by using SSH, you can connect with the server directly. So these are the different reasons why we are going with Ansible. Let's talk about system requirements for Ansible, for setting up Ansible. So first server you can say is Ansible control server. So this is a hub for managing all the nodes. So currently Ansible supports only Unix or Linux servers. I mean, whatever ending with Nix will be supported for installing Ansible control server. So this is a hub for managing all the servers. Currently, for your information, Windows is not supported for Ansible control server, and Ansible is completely built on Python. So this is a requirement for control server and remote server. Let's talk more about remote nodes. So mainly we will concentrate on Windows nodes and Linux nodes. Uh, for Windows nodes, Ansible can able to manage those nodes, and it will use PowerShell for the communication, and it uses the remote command executions through PowerShell. And for Linux, it uses the SSH for communication. The port number used is 22 as usual for executing all the actions. So these are the system requirements, and in the next session, we will be seeing in depth how to set up the environment for Ansible, how to create the Ansible servers, everything. So you must be wondering how Ansible works. I mean, what is the language used in Ansible? Okay, so before to get go easy with Ansible, you should learn what is YAML file. So it's just a format code language. It is not a markup language like XML. Why Ansible preferred YAML is it is very easy to write. So this is the place where you will define your actions. So that is where you need to go ahead with YAML file. Okay, let's talk about architecture. Architecture is very simple. As you can see my diagram, it's just an overall, it's just the simplest way of defining the architecture. So there are different components here, and we are going to see each component in a very detailed way in the coming sections, because each section have each component have a separate section. So we have, so don't worry. So now I'm going to explain in overall how this architecture flows. Okay, start from left side. So the first component is inventory. So inventory is the place where we define our set of variables, set of groups, and set of group of groups and different things. So you'll be I feel it is, I think it's a bit complex to understand. You understand what all this about. So um, once show you all how these files are, how the inventory files and what are the variables defined inside, you'll be able to understand all those things. And next is playbook. So playbook is the heart of Ansible. So playbook is the place where all the actions are defined, and this is the package which is going to get executed on the remote nodes. So playbooks will have plays. So plays is nothing but a set of actions. Let's say, let's go ahead with one example. Let's say I want to do a health check for a server. So when I say health check, there will be different actions. I want to check CPU utilization. I want to check memory utilization. I want to check disk utilization. So all these three are different actions. So you just have to relate with plays. So all these three are different plays which are placed under playbooks. So when I execute this playbook, all these three, plays will get executed and we will get the report. So this is what plays are. And module is also a kind of an action where we define each predefined thing. And I'll give more insight about modules. So in modules there are three types. One is core module, one is extra module, and one is deprecated. So what is core module? Core module is nothing but before that. So there are around 460 plus modules are created in Ansible, and this is one of the most beautiful feature we have, and this is where Ansible is leading other tools. All these 462 modules, nothing but 462 different actions where you don't need to write much complex code or you don't need to worry about different logics. You just have to use those particular modules in your play and automatically you can start using it. That is the beauty of using modules. So what is core modules? As I said, there are three types: core, extra, deprecated. What is core module? Core module is a module which is officially supported by Ansible. I'll give example like, yeah, you can take copy module. What copy module does is, copy module will copy the files from your local machine to the remote host. So this action will perform that activity. There are other examples like yum module for Red Hat servers, apt module for Ubuntu machines, fetch module. So different modules are there. Extra module. So the second type is extra module. So extra module is nothing but third-party modules. There will be other organization and there will be different developers who are more interested on Ansible and they'll be creating their own modules and they will publish it. So those modules are coming under extras module, even though Ansible don't support it officially, but still you can use it with your own understanding of it. And deprecated modules are the one. Um, I recommend not to use deprecated in a production because a deprecated are the ones which can be removed in future releases at any time. So it's better to not go ahead with deprecated modules. And you must be thinking, so where all these playbooks are available? So again, there are different playbooks available. If you have learned chef, if you have gone through chef architecture, there we will say it's a cookbook. So there are, and again there are different cookbooks available and readily you can use it. So same, Ansible will also have it. And for Ansible there is a separate place where you can go and download it. So that is a Ansible Galaxy. That is a place where you can go ahead and download the contents. Let's come to the architecture. So this is what modules is all about. Ansible config. So this configuration file where in easy way you can take, like, you can define your system environment variables or Ansible environment variables in this configuration file. As I said, the whole Ansible is built on using Python. So Python, there will be a list of Python library files which is responsible for passing all these playbooks to the nodes. And this nodes should have Python supported. So it's better to use 2.4 or 2x version of Python. Let's talk um, more about Ansible Tower. What is Ansible Tower? So Ansible Tower is an nothing but a UI interface where you can able to manage, control nodes, and where you can set your roles and you can manage infrastructure, everything. So Ansible Red Hat actually charges for Ansible Tower. So good thing is there is a trial version which we can use and which we can download and which we can install in any Linux node, and it will support 10 nodes. It means that it can you can manage 10 nodes in the trial version. So in enterprise companies, mostly they are going with Ansible Tower paid version so that they can manage 1000 node plus or 5000 node plus depending upon the license model. So these are the different components involved in Ansible. So it's not much complex. If I know, just follow the exercise which we are going to do in from next series and start practicing it. Ansible is all yours, and it is very easy to go ahead with. Okay, so this is all about the architecture way of understanding Ansible. So in the next series, we are going to set up the environment for deploying Ansible. Okay, so one thing you have to remember is you need to have, it's good to know basic knowledge of Linux servers, basic knowledge how virtualization works, because we are going to use Vagrant and we are going to use Oracle VirtualBox for Ansible deployments, so that it's easy for you to even follow up. Okay, so let's meet in the next series, and it's all about the installation process of Ansible. Thank you.